survived the storm. Here's Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy.
If you're ever caught in your car during a flood, you have seconds to act before your life is in grave danger. It's important to know the steps to take to survive this situation. First, if your car starts filling up with water, you need to get out as quickly as you can. First, you need to take off your seatbelt. Kind of seems like a duh type of thing, but in a panic situation, it's something sometimes that you can forget about. Next, try opening your door. Oftentimes, the pressure of the water on the door will prevent you from being able to open it up. So the next thing to do is to open up your windows immediately. Cars without power windows, it's fairly easy. Just crank them down and then crawl out your window. The problem comes when you've got power windows and the water has shorted out the electrical system in the car, rendering your power windows useless. So what do you do? Trying to bust out your window can be pretty tough. So having this important tool could save your life. This tool is called a Rescue Me tool. Here's how it works. So basically there is a pin located in here. It is spring loaded. And when you take this and you press it up against the window, shatter it. See how quickly the glass shattered. And now all you would have to do is just punch out those pieces of glass and crawl out the window. Luckily for the demonstration purposes here, I can just get out of the vehicle, and obviously we're not in any floodwaters, but this tool could save your life if you get caught in the flood. You can pick up some of these tools at your local hardware stores for just about $30.
If I was standing here almost a year ago, I'd practically be underwater. Springfield saw rain like it hadn't seen in years. It seems the corner of Chestnut Expressway and National Avenue was ground zero for worst flooding of the season.
It doesn't happen very often, but this area is in the floodplain.
When they talk about flash floods, it's the real deal. It comes up in a matter of seconds, and you're done.
It's a crazy amount of rainfall in such a short period of time.
Straight across National, through the come-and-go parking lot, and it's us, the river, straight across.
Just about everyone in Springfield remembers when nearly 6 inches of rain caused the downtown area to flood.
When Jordan Valley Creek ran over the banks, it was all over.
Thomas Douglas's technology business took a major hit.
We had anywhere between 1 inch and about 8 inches of water, depending on where it was. You can see how the cables go down inside the floor. You don't expect that it's ever going to be an issue. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of cable that you just have to cut out and throw away. You plan for it, but you just never want it to actually occur or think that it will. The water was up above this concrete. I mean, it actually made it into these buildings. Everything all the way down throughout the whole parking lot was toast that day. We lost 13 vehicles.
Stormwater engineer for Springfield, Chris Dunaway, says this area has a long history of flooding.
A century ago, I think it was in the early 1900s, maybe around in the 20s, is when they put the creek underground in a big box culvert.
These photos taken nearly 100 years ago show the Jordan Valley Creek taking over downtown Springfield. Known by historians as the flood of 1909, water from the banks of the creek nearly reached the Federal Building, taking out trees and pushing debris towards businesses on Boonville Avenue. Back then, city engineers thought forcing the creek underground would be a good way to control flooding.
Thought that would contain it, and obviously it doesn't, not even close. Trying to put that all underground is it's just not possible.
He says restoring the creek to its natural state so it can handle heavy rains is likely the only way to prevent future flood.
It would take basically 20 years of just funding this, which obviously wouldn't allow for any other improvements around town. Probably not the most responsible thing to do.
We learned the hard way not to mess with Mother Nature.
Stormwater improvements were made near Cooper Park off Pythian last year, but it'll be a little relief to this area when it comes to flooding. Still, seeing 5% less water is a start.
It was just a little over a year ago that floodwaters were raging through this intersection at Chestnut Expressway and National Avenue in Springfield. And just so happens to be that new research is telling us that Springfield may be one of the most flood-prone areas in the country.
As you can see from the data, The city of Springfield is a bullseye.
Doug Kramer with the National Weather Service tells us about this new data.
We took on a research project where we took in all reports across the United States, and we developed what we call a heat map. We want to know what areas experiences the most flooding.
The map showing flash flood frequency has a couple bullseyes, a few up there in the northeastern portion of the United States, but one right here over southwest Missouri.
Our region here experiences some of the highest frequency of flash flooding across the United States.
This map shows all of the flash flood reports over the past couple of decades here in southwest Missouri, but why do we have so many? Why are we so flash flood prone?
We know that we've got rocky soil. It doesn't absorb precipitation as much as it does out across the Great Plains. So what happens is that precipitation, it runs off. We're also dealing with terrain, so it runs off faster into these streams.
And there's one geographical feature that also helps lead to more flash flooding.
It's called the Ozark Plateau. And if you look at the terrain across southwest Missouri, these streams and these creeks and these small rivers, they all start right here on the plateau. Springfield is directly on top of the plateau, so obviously we have numerous springs and streams and creeks that start here. This is the headwaters, are the starting points of these streams. Channel characteristics are very small. They can't handle heavy rainfall. In these areas along and near the Ozark Plateau, it's essentially going to enhance your flash flood frequency across southwest Missouri.
The new research also pinpoints the time of the year that flash flooding is most frequent, and you might be surprised.
It's the cold season. Particularly the month of December is when we have the most flash flood fatalities. If you've got full vegetation, then that tends to absorb a lot of rainfall. And obviously in the cold season, you don't have much vegetation to soak that up. So we do see enhanced flash flooding in the cold season when we do get these heavy rain events.
Despite the high frequency of flash flooding in Springfield, you might be surprised to know that there's actually only been one fatality in Greene County since 1994.
Because of the close relationship that we have with our media partners, people across Springfield are getting the warnings and they're doing what we tell them to do.
Luckily, no lives were lost in the flooding here in downtown Springfield last year, but flooding kills more people in the Ozarks than any other weather-related phenomenon. So always remember, turn around, don't drown.
Coming up on Survive the Storm, we join the National Weather Service for a balloon launch and show how this data is crucial to forecasting. And then take you inside of the Doppler radar to show you how it works. And you may be surprised by the low threshold that homes are built to withstand a tornado. We investigate why. First, here's meteorologist Matt Jones.
KSBR early warning weather promises to give you at least 72 hours before any major storm arrives by talking about it on our weather rundown. Here we go in depth with what to expect with the next major Ozark storm. Online at KSBR.com or on the KSBR weather app, just look for the weather rundown. Survive the Storm returns after this.